Welcome back to La Hooge and Yanks, where we talk everything Canada soccer and U.S. soccer. Tonight we'll be talking about the final game of the send-off series between the U.S. women's national team and Mexico. And this one was basically a repeat of the same scoreline where the U.S. women's team would take a 4-0 victory, 4-0 over Mexico in this one. And without further ado, they played a 4-3-3 with Alyssa Nair in the back of the net, with O'Hara, Dalkimber, Sauerbrunn, and Crystal Dunn on the back line for your 4. And then your 3 in the middle, you have Sam Mewis, Lindsey Horan, and Rose Lavelle. And then for your 3 up top, Tobin Heath, Carly Lloyd, and Christian Perez. Now for this one, basically, it was third minute. We go right into it. We're just going to go right into it. Third minute, Mayor Mexico just had this first chance of the game, actually. So as Mayor gets a ball from behind the Mexican side, she shoots, but a brilliant save from Alyssa Nair to deny the Mexicans from going up early 1-0 in this one. And then we go to the 6th minute where a ball is headed into the box from Carly Lloyd to Lindsey Horan. She catches a beautiful volley and puts it in. What a golazo. Beautiful ball, just beautiful golazo for Lindsey Horan, and Estados Unidos already up 1-0 for the Estados Unidos. And 11th minute, a ball comes in for Crystal Dunn to Carly Lloyd, and Carly Lloyd heads in, no problem. Now it's 2-0 de Estados Unidos, and they're already moving. There's no stopping this train. They are moving, and it continues as it should have been another goal, but 13th minute, a ball comes into the play, and it's a great one, and it's actually scored, but the play is caught off sides, and this was bull, because Christian Press was clearly on sides, but even the AR had their flag down, but the center ref overruled the AR by calling it offside, so I don't know about this one. I think it should have been 3-0 at this point for the United States. Controversial call, tough one to make for the United States. But then we go to the 20th minute where there's another controversial call as Tobin Heath is clipped in the penalty box from behind. The Mexican player doesn't even get the ball, and it should be a penalty, but the ref doesn't call it. And it could have been another scoring opportunity. It could have been 4-0 at this point. But the game goes on. 2 missed opportunities, 2 missed calls, 2 missed controversial calls. But it is what it is. The game goes on. 37th minute, there's a long distance strike from Tobin Heath like last game, but this time it's saved and it's hit off the crossbar. But it's followed up and tapped in by Christian Press, and Christian Press has scored goal. I thought she scored, but it's actually an own goal. It is a goal, but it's called as an own goal for Mexico. As apparently I didn't see this. I didn't know it was an own goal, but it's a goal. 3-0 USA, 3-0. And we go to the 39th minute where there's a steal in the final third by Sam Mewis, and it's passed to Tobin Heath, where she finds and shoots and scores. 4-0 de Estados Unidos, and it's halftime now, as the USA basically picks up right where they left off against Mexico last game, and that's free scoring wheel. And we go to the 50th minute where Rapinoe has a free kick, but it's hit off the crossbar. But at this point, the USA takes their foot off the gas, and remember that this is still practice for the Olympics. So the United States is taking this time to work on defensive drills and tactics in order for that preparation for the Olympics. And then in the 74th minute, Alex Morgan has an opportunity, but it's saved by Gonzalez for the Mexican keeper. Brilliant save. Great job. But from here on out, the USA just sees this out. Practices whatever they got to practice, and the game ends. But the USA does keep that winning streak going. I think it's 44 games now unbeaten. A lot of wins and 1 tie. Just brilliant start for the brilliant streak going on for the United States. And then we look at the stats where the United States outshoots Mexico in this one 17-5. And 11 of those shots for the United States out of the 17 were on target, while only 2 of the 5 for Mexico were on target. The United States also had 71% of the possession, for Mexico only had 29%. 652 passes to 275 passes completed. The United States outpasses Mexico. And then 88% pass accuracy to 66% accuracy for Mexico. And then 5 fouls to 11 fouls. No red card for the USA. No yellow card for the United States to 1 Mexico yellow card. There are no red cards. 5 offside to 1 offside. The United States has more offsides, and then 5 corners for the United States to 2 corners for Mexico. And so basically, yeah, this one, it's clockwork. Basically, the women's left off where they last, as I said earlier. They left off free scoring wheel as they like last game when they played Mexico. Uh, it was just pass or it was whatever they had to do. Pass, make a play, shoot, score, repeat. It's clockwork. They just didn't let their foot off the gas until the second half. And so this was really great for them too, to see that they had everything was going for them. And they could have easily scored more in the second half, but I think it was kind of wise for them to kind of let up a little bit, the way you make sure no one else got injured, or perhaps could, make get injured for the next one. And I was gonna say, perhaps making mistakes, but what mistakes can you make when you're up 4-0? But it's good either way. Good practices from good techniques. Although Mexico is not really they're not as good as like a Sweden or a France. I guess it's still good to have some defensive practice. Better than none. But yeah, they could have easily scored more in the second half, and I think they're probably gonna look at the tape and look at this one and go, yeah, we should have, could have, would have had more goals, or should have just put the ball in the back of the net more. I mean, this could have easily been 6-0. Should have been 6-0. I mean, there are 2 controversial calls, but it is what it is. The game went on. It still got the result, 4-0 over Mexico. But yes, they could have scored more goals if they wanted to. And then this was a final tune-up for the Olympics, as they were practicing various scenarios, as whether it be defensive drills, counterattacking. By the way, in credit to Mexico, they did not play a low block, hide and shield away, right? Just like last game, they actually tried to attack. They tried to create their own chances. It was just the United States was just too dominant in this one for them. But we still got to give them credit for attacking. They did give us a couple scares, but the United States defense did hold strong in this one. But yeah, final tune-up. So we'll see what kind of test the defense gets. As they have a tough group ahead of them. You got Sweden first, then you got Australia, and then you got New Zealand. Sweden and Australia are not going to be pushovers. Let alone, I don't even think New Zealand's going to be a pushover. So it's important that this team brings their A game to this game, or A games to the tournament, I should say. That way, Sweden historically has always given the United States trouble. They're the one tie and the winning streak that they currently have going on. But Sweden will always be a test. We're gonna see what they can do against Sweden. Whether it be good, bad, we'll analyze that. But hopefully, this team brings their A game to this Olympics. And lastly, basically, on a positive before they head over to the Olympics, although there won't be a crowd for the Olympics, which is sad. I think it'll be very limited, but it won't be like the one here, the one there at Connecticut. Which in fact, on a positive note, it's ended up setting the largest record for the largest home crowd for the U.S. women's national team in the state of Connecticut for a U.S. women's game of any type. And that was just big. I think 27,000 people are out there filled it, but it was at the University of Connecticut's football stadium. And it was pretty a nice sight to see, especially after having no fans for a long period of time due to COVID-19. And so it's a beautiful sight to see. We took fans for granted, and it's important that we also, fans mean a lot to the game, and in order, we can't take them for granted because, if you remember back in mid-COVID, where there were no fans with empty stadium, you just had the sound of the players, everybody could hear each other clearly. The fans add a new element to the game, just an element that's just indescribable. That's what the fans' job is, the 12th man. It's a beautiful sight to see every time the fans are in the stands. But yeah, that's just a positive note for the U.S. women's team, although there's not going to be a large crowd there to watch them. Hopefully they'll be able to feed off of that limited crowd, whoever's there to watch them, and find some momentum chasing that gold medal. But pretty much that's it, clockwork, They picked off where they left off against Mexico last time. But simple as that, not really much critique this, really could get them on, right? I think they did everything really above decent or really think great. And so I have no complaints for me for this U.S. women's team. Just interesting to see what they can do in the Olympics coming up, and I'm excited to see what they can do too. And that pretty much does it. Now, next up, I do have a 10 sub special. Finally, it's going to be released on July 7th, and this one's going to be talking about a new league that's coming to the USA and how that might improve talent for not even just the USA, but just for North America in general. You have a lot of dual nationals, like for instance, Iowa Canola came up through the U.S. program, but he also committed to Canada. But even though the USA is building this talent, this new kind of pipeline, I feel like other countries with dual nationalities will benefit from this if they can manage to steal this away from the United States. So, although it's a talking point for the United States, it's probably also a talking point for North America in general, especially the U.S. and Canada as talent begins to rise. And so that's going to be a really interesting topic to talk about, coming in 2022. But yeah, that was for July 7th. So stay tuned for that. We're going to celebrate the growth of this channel, as I think we're around 20 subs, right? 19. Either way, it's growing really fast. It's only about a month old, and we're just going to celebrate the growth of this channel. And it's really, really marvelous on how much this channel has grown, even in a small period of time. Even with the tiny amount, it still means a lot to me. But we're going to celebrate that on July 7th. And if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with all your friends. Also, tell all your friends to look out for the 10 sub special, and also get ready for the Olympics.